Hey.
Oh, hi.
How are you?
Good.
Good.
That light is gonna be shining. I've had one of those crazy days. I didn't even make it into the office when I wanted to.
I know. Me too. It's yeah. What you been up to?
Oh, nothing. My grandma's gonna come stay with us this weekend.
Oh,
So
gotcha.
I had to set up the guest room, and she's got some dementia, so I have to make sure everything's kind of like
Ready for
accessible in a way that makes sense for her. And
yeah, definitely.
yeah. I got all ready to go. I was gonna go in at 10 for that remind and just kind of be there all day in the
Yeah.
office. And no, I got all ready and was like, nope, that's not happening.
Said, never mind.
Forget it.
Like, this is fine. This is fine.
Yeah. So what have you been up to?
I did the remind thing at 10, but I did it over Zoom. So I was there, and then I had a buyer appointment. I got them signed, which was good. So yeah, I got that. And then I just was helping some friends move recently. Yeah, so they're all everybody's moving. I don't know what's going on.
Right. It's spring, like
yeah, but most of them are still in apartments though. So
yeah, that's always fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man. Let me see. Do I need to turn off that light, or is that not bad?
Oh, it's fine. It's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's just me on my end.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I turned it a little bit. My way. Yeah, I did a showing last night for Amanda down in Fairmont.
Oh, how'd it go?
Yeah, it was good. The lady did it over Zoom, so I zoomed her. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, I don't know, but it was fun. That was the first time I've shown a place by myself. So.
Oh, that's awesome.
I was excited.
Nice.
Yeah. That's the part I like, though. I feel like I could do that all day long. Just let me do that.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Did you tell Jess that you were zooming in, or?
No, I didn't. I was gonna show up in person, and then I was gonna show up in person, and then it ran a little long, so I was like, I don't have time to make it in, and so.
Yeah, I know. I told her we had our one-on-one. I told her I was gonna Zoom. There's just no way I was gonna make it. So.
Yeah. I should text her right now and let her know.
Yeah. We are here.
I'm like, we are here, ready to go.
Hey, sorry, I'm in the car, but I'm a minute from the house, and then I will be able to set up my camera and everything.
Oh, you're good. You're good. No rush at all.
So were your friends, is this their first place they were moving to, or on their own, or were they just moving from one apartment to a different one?
Just moving from one apartment to a different one. Their lease just ended, and they were gonna they're moving into an apartment that allows pets, so they can get a dog, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. Dogs are nice to have.
It is. They're really nice.
So what kind of dog do you have?
She's an Australian Shepherd mix. I'm not quite sure with what. I think maybe Bernese Mountain Dog, because she has the colors and the fur and the webbed toes, but she herds things. And I'm like, okay, so it has to be Shepherd something. But
yeah,
she's I love her so much. She's nuts.
Oh my gosh, she sounds fluffy.
Oh, she is. Okay, she'll probably pop in at some point today.
Yeah, my daughter, they have a Australian Shepherd, but it's blonde. So it's like the blonde with the blonde. So
that's awesome. Yeah, they are
really pretty. They think it's supposed to be mixed with something else, but they're not sure.
Yeah, but I think it'd be fun to do one of those DNA tests at some point. But I'm like, okay, I'll do it someday. I want to know what she is.
Right.
Yeah. Do you have any dogs?
I have a full-blooded beagle.
Oh, cute.
Very much a beagle. Just
That's awesome.
She was a hunting dog for like 2 years.
Oh,
And the guy I got her from, so she's still like very much just like, hi, how are you? Like, thanks for letting me inside, you know?
oh my
She's
God.
super cute.
Oh.
And then I've got an older dog that's like 14. She's just a mix. She's just the tiny, you know,
Yeah,
who knows what she is. So
just tiny mutt.
yeah, but she's adorable, but she's really old. So
Yeah.
yeah. She's over laying on the couch in the other room.
But
That's all she wants to do.
she's got it figured out, man.
It's the life.
It is. Ugh.
Hey, look, there's Jenny. Go
Hello.
on. Gina.
Hello.
Howdy, I'm gonna put you, I know nobody puts baby in a corner, but I'm gonna put you in a corner.
Do it.
Jess is just finishing something up,
Okay.
and Thomas is eating.
A deal.
Oh, that's me who's eating, sorry.
I can hear our littlest dog barking downstairs. He barks at anything and everything. Is just.
What is that one? What's that dog?
He is a pug chihuahua. We think he's funny looking. I don't even know. So he has like the body and the tail of a pug, and but then the face and the legs of a chihuahua. So it's like he is adorable. He's adorable.
Yeah, we have a chug. My
Yeah.
daughter, when she moved out, she took Dave with her.
Dave is the
Yes, the goofiest looking dog, and it's one eye. Only has one eye. So I will show you a picture of this dog. It's like a little gremlin.
oh my God.
Yeah. So I understand what I understand. I understand what you have.
It's just the best. He's the alpha too. He's the alpha of the 4 dogs, and he's just so tight. It's amazing.
like,
I love watching it.
Just like, what are you?
No, I don't know, man.
Oh, great. Yeah, I'll have to show you pictures of our Dave because you'll get a kick out of that.
Yes.
I understand the attitude.
He does. He has this like just old man. He's like 12, 13 years old too. So he's just got this old man energy. He's got like 4 teeth. It's just like,
Hey.
sorry, I offended Jason and his 4 teeth.
Nothing.
Yeah, he's got more than that.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Nothing. Comment of the day. You know that one in the back only seems like half a tooth, but it works.
But it works.
So while we're waiting for Jess, I think we'll take care of some of the calendar stuff like this on the 17th. That's that CE class that we have coming up on the 17th. Yours is right there, Bubba. Bingo. Thursday, March 17th, 1 to 4. You can only get CE credit if you come in person. If you're curious, you can find this also on kwpr-dashboard.com or Facebook under the group Keller Williams Preferred Realty Events. And then you'll see a whole calendar of events. You can find it there. But if you want to get credit for this, you need to come in person to be there. And when you're in person, it's super nice. You do have to pay $20 to get the credit for it, but you can attend the class either way. It's only if you want credit that you have to pay the $20. That is from 1 to 4 p.m. on St. Patrick's Day. Now you were saying to yourself, man, I'm in the office from 1 to 4. What's next? Dude, that's when we're going to Amber Seaver's party here down in St. Peter. We're gonna load up the cars, field trip time to see Amber Seaver. The cool thing about going to see Amber Seaver is we can load up on referral opportunities and stuff like that as people move back and forth. She likes to have people who can move the cities. We like to eat free food. We win, she wins, everybody wins. Amber Seaver, March 17th. March 30th is something. What is happening on 30th? Oh, the awards ceremony. That's right, at 10:30 in the morning at the Best Western. That's right across the street from us, Best Western Nicollet. That will be an award ceremony. And you're saying, man, but I am not going to win any award. Why should I go? Dude, free food again. Not only is it free food, but there's free mimosas. Bottomless mimosas. That doesn't mean you don't have to wear pants. Okay, bottomless mimosas mean they'll fill them up, not don't wear pants. Okay, so wear pants, but come at 10:30 for the award ceremony. Great opportunity to meet some of the best folks in the office, as well as some of the folks who are not the best, because they'll all be there. Best, not best, somewhere in between. Everybody's going to be there, giving away awards, saying cool things, doing neat stuff. So that happens on the 30th. And then you're like, dude, well, what happens on the 31st? Because you mentioned the 30th, you mentioned the 17th. There's got to be something on the 31st. And it turns out you're right. There is something on the 31st. That's our PC potluck. Woo, woo. Now you probably remember that, and maybe you missed it. There's an opportunity to vote on what time we're going to hold that, 4 or 5:30 in the group. And I have it on good authority that you may not have voted because there are only 4 or 5 votes. So when I say you, it could be you, it might be you, or you over there, but one of you didn't vote. And so as a result, you're going to get tagged tonight to vote. Just tell us when you want to come. And if you aren't coming, you're like, you know what, the hell with all you people, I'm not coming. I don't care what time you have it, vote anyway, and then make us come at a time you can't come. All right, that's how we do this. But make sure to vote on what time that'll be on the 31st, because all of you want to have some part of some kind of sauerkraut and dumplings, because that's just what I'm bringing. And I know you're going to want it. And it's going to smell, well, it's going to smell. You might think it's delicious. You might think it's terrible. Either way, you're going to smell it. I promise you that. That's how it works. And I feel like there's something else. 24, I don't know. Anything else? Any other days?
I don't think so.
No, that's all the days. That's today, the 10th, 17th, 31st, 30th. Those are all the big days we got to call out. We'll go round robin real quick, see if anybody has any real questions we can knock out before we get rolling. Dana, questions, concerns, problems, conundrums, things you do wrong and you want me to fix.
Do you know for the CE, do we have to, is it something we pay before for the $20, or do we just bring it the day of?
I would either bring it, or I believe you can get billed.
Okay.
I believe the normal practice, as I understand it, is it would be billed to you, and then that would show up. I mean, I think Matt bills out on the 20th.
Okay.
And that's how that would work. So, I mean, you don't necessarily have to bring the money that day, it just show up as a bill.
Okay.
But you know, how high do you want that bill to be? I don't know. I'll let you decide that.
Yeah.
KWPR training. Do you have any questions? Oh, that's me. Never mind. Jenny, questions, concerns, conundrums, fits?
No questions. No, I'm good.
Fair enough. Going our emotional outbursts, questions, concerns.
No questions. Ready to go.
All right. How about you, Thomas?
Yeah, which Best Western is that?
Which Best Western is it? That's a great one. It's the Best Western Nicollet Premier Inn.
Hi.
And you're saying, well, that doesn't tell me anything other than what I just knew. The Best Western Nicollet Premier Inn is the name of the Best Western that is across the Nicollet, or across 42 from us,
Turn the camera on
north.
so they can see you?
What? It's not on?
Oh,
Oh, there we go. Hey, there's Thomas. He's over there.
I was wondering if you were gonna put it on. I wasn't gonna say anything, but I could.
I was waiting for Dana to
I'm the
say it.
tech guy.
The tech guy.
I'm the tech guy. I don't know anything about these cameras.
Screen?
Whoa, what's that all about? It's just making it more fun.
Your pop's in my way.
I was eating and they didn't need that. They didn't need to see those broccolis being consumed like that.
True.
So we have gone over the various dates
Oh, good. Okay.
because we wanted to handle the housekeeping, because I think that's the
Housekeeping.
top thing on
It
the
is.
list. But we hadn't talked about our April idea.
Oh my
We
God.
talked to the March stuff,
Tell
but
them.
not April. So look, I have this
Still in
friend,
my way.
and her name is Toddy, and Toddy does a lot of the coordination of the events for Kelly Arvidsson Homes, of which I am a member. And she said, well, what kind of events do you want to do? And I'm like, dude, I want to do May the 4th be with you kind of thing. I mean, my sphere is kind of nerdy like that. They're going to be excited by a Star Wars opportunity or something like that, but I have no clue what to do. And so I threw it out there and just kind of sat there for a little bit. We pretty much ignored it because then when you can't come up with anything, you let it roll around. Then you say, nah, you know what? But then it occurred to me that maybe worst case scenario, I can just invite a bunch of my nerdy friends over and we're gonna go sit in the training room and watch Star Wars on the big screen. And client event right there, blammo, cost me zilch, literally zilch. But then I mentioned this to Jess because that's kind of guy I am. And she's like, well, why don't we kind of put all the PC's heads together and think, what kind of event could we do similar to that, where everybody brings their, some people out of their sphere. Maybe we pop for chips and sodas and stuff like that and have some kind of thing. Maybe it's a board game night. Maybe it's a viewing party or something like that. I mean, there's a lot of things we could do as a client event. And we want to do that, maybe setting it up for sometime in April, but we're going to have a poll in Facebook where you can add some ideas to a client event for the PC class, because in the end, client events are one of the most important ways to regularly touch your customers. But on the other side, you may not have millions of dollars yet to invest. So we want to come up with some basic ideas that are maybe a little less expensive, take advantage of the free facility we have here, and do fun things, because that sounds like fun to me right off the bat. And if we can get everybody together and do fun stuff and meet everybody, then that's a great deal. Is that right?
Yeah.
Did I say all the things? I hit all the points.
You did. And that we usually have a Easter. That's what it was. I was going to ask Victoria about the client,
You have a
that's,
scary,
remember, I wanted to talk to her. Yeah.
you have a scary flipping Easter bunny
Easter
show up.
bunny, right? We usually have the Easter bunny. This year we are not having the Easter bunny. And so we don't have an event that usually would be in April. So we could put one in April, and we could also make it May or whatever, right? Because we need time to promo it and figure it out what we're doing. And the other thing is that, you invite all your people. It doesn't matter who comes. Like if you're like, oh my God, no one came, doesn't matter, right? Then all of us just get to watch Star Wars or whatever we're doing, right? It's about you getting the message out there, right? So I want you guys to kind of think about that. What, if you have any ideas, if you want to yell them out now.
But Grace is
The
going to be
poll.
posting that poll,
Yep,
and that's a
Grace.
great place to put them, and we can even
Yep.
discuss it in the poll thing. But you're going to see that after you vote, when she tags you to vote,
Yeah, you
because
gotta
you got to
vote.
vote.
You gotta vote.
Got to vote on your
Are all
time.
of you on the Facebook group? Maybe Gonar, you're not on there yet. I don't know. Let me go grab my phone. Make sure.
I'm
you're-
not yet.
You
I
see.
actually don't have a Facebook, but
Oh my gosh, what?
Good for you. I am proud of you, Gonar. No, you don't.
A lot of
No,
people
you
have been
do
telling me
not.
to start
Gonar, you do not need a Facebook. I am so proud. I am one of the proud. I could not be prouder. My message to you is don't bow to the pressure. It's a terrible thing. And I mean it. It is a terrible thing. There's no reason to have it.
Oh my gosh. Just for PC.
No, no.
No.
If he says he doesn't, there is no,
Okay,
you know what?
I've got you.
Gonar, we just want you to try cocaine for this particular evening because we need to be gassed up. No,
Gassed
stay
up.
away from Facebook. It's terrible. It's a bad, anybody who tries to introduce it to you.
Gassed up. What even is that? I've never imagined to be gassed up.
What else are you gonna do with cocaine, man?
Gas up.
You're ready to go. Right? That's what I'm saying. Facebook's a terrible thing. You don't introduce somebody to it like it's some kind
Oh.
of thing.
Oh my God. You don't?
No,
No.
I probably will make a Facebook though, just to be a little more tuned into the group.
Gave it all.
I'll give it a go. I'll give it a go.
Pressure.
Gonar, if everyone's jumping off a bridge, would you jump off the bridge?
Oh my God. Seriously. My stomach's hurting. Okay. All right.
While she's figuring that out, I want to point out that this is space flavored. Space flavored. Realistic. It literally says space flavored. And you're asking yourself, Coca-Cola Starlight? That's a thing. Yes, it's space flavored.
Okay,
There's an
but-
astronaut somewhere. They
show him
pulled off
this.
his helmet and he got to lick space. And then he said, this is what it tastes like. And they put it in a bottle.
Show him this. That's why I'm
That's
confused.
not him.
I'm pretty sure it is. No? It says Mankato. Oh, you're muted. We can't hear you, Gunnar,
He just doesn't use it. He has a page.
but we can't hear him. He's
Well,
talking to us.
That's true. He is talking to us and it is muted and we can see him talking, but the words don't come out. Mom's spaghetti
Sorry.
is somehow involved.
Sorry. No, so yeah, I've made a Facebook in the like probably I don't know how long ago, but I just haven't been active, I guess, on it. But I will update it for sure.
Because that, I mean, that's him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's me.
That's not you, Jason.
No, it is not me.
Okay, so, so then you probably have a couple of friend requests in there. So if you
Yeah.
accept those, then you'll get added to those groups. And then
Okay.
the groups, right? Okay, so then the next thing is homework. So what I want to know is, we had two things of homework. One was to do a buyer consultation practice. And the other thing was to do module 6. So where do you want to start? Do you want to start with module 6 or do you want to start with the buyer consultation?
Module.
Okay, anybody else
First words module.
doing? Okay,
Never get in the way of
Oh,
the
crap.
guy who's opened his
did you
mouth.
bring it up? The paperwork, the module. Paperwork.
No, 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 didn't bring it. Do everybody remember what it is? It's like the circle of life,
Mindset.
mindset circle. Yeah, get ready, get set, get mindset, go. All right, I want to touch on this real quick. And I think it's going to get there really fast. And I actually almost do want to jump to the other topic.
Okay,
Because I think we got a story to tell about the other topic and that dovetails into
Into
this
this
topic
topic?
really
Okay.
better.
sure.
Sorry, Jenny.
Okay, so, so we will digress or regress or whatever, and we'll go the other
Progress. We
direction.
will progress.
We'll progress.
The opposite of progress is
I don't know.
Congress. Pro, con, progress, Congress. Stay away from those guys. You want things to go backwards, Congress, go.
Oh my God. Who gave him the
Space.
the cocaine?
Yeah,
tonight?
for real.
Yes.
Yes, space flavored.
That's what space flavored is. It's just cocaine
Guys,
thrown in there for extra fun.
yes, we're missing the show there. Okay, so the homework was to have 2 buyer consultations that were a practice. And so Jason and I were talking last night and kind of came to the conclusion that, you know what, it doesn't have to be 2, it could be 5, right? It could be 10 in a week. It can be whatever you want. I think the minimum should be 2, right? We have to start somewhere, right? And then your 10th one, it needs to be Jason, me, or Melissa, right? Johnson. And so I was talking with Jenny and we went over her KPA and then today we had a one-on-one. And so Jenny, I want you to tell them the story, like it's
Of a lovely lady.
like it's not a fact. I want you to tell us the
Oh, no.
experience that you had with one of your practice buyer consultations.
Okay, yeah, so one of them I did was with my parents, so my mom and dad.
Easy
And so-
peasy, going the easy way out. Mom and dad, I gotcha.
Hey, yeah, that's how you gotta start with them, right?
You do, actually.
So we're going through all of it and everything, and my dad's really taking it seriously, like he's really into it. And then finally he's like, we probably, if we're gonna list, it's, we have to list our house and we are thinking of moving because I pulled up different areas for them because they've talked about possibly like 5 years they might move, But yeah, so he's like taking it like I was like, okay, like, are you serious? And he's like, yeah. Because they found out like where their cabin is being sold, and the land their cabin is on is leased. So now they don't know what's going with that. So they don't want to give up their lake place. So now they're seriously thinking about looking at lake properties. And so yeah.
He leans in and says, so we're gonna probably list in May then,
Yeah.
right? And Jenny's like, excuse me?
Excuse me? I was like,
What?
Are you serious? So we'll see, but their whole thought process now, just going through this whole, really thinking about it, and then me presenting them like areas and different things and the process of, buying a property. They were thinking on that track, and I didn't realize they were really that serious.
And
So
then
you went
what
from
did
practice to making it real for
Right.
somebody.
Right. So it's making it real. And then my mom was sitting there and she's like, well, best friends, Beth and Dale, that I've known since I were little, they're like, they're planning on relocating too. So you should call them and do a practice buyer consult with them too, because they're thinking of selling. And then I was like, okay. So I got to call Beth and Dale.
Right? So the thing that was a practice became a real life scenario. And how did it feel when you were going through the practice? Did they have any comments back towards you, like about how you did?
Yeah. I think they were actually surprised, like how I'm actually doing like a real job career thing. Like it seemed like real to them. Like it was presented in a real professional way. They're like, oh, look at you. Like you're doing it. So.
And I mean, we kind of talked about that last week, that you go and do this, and then suddenly they're like, you should call these people.
Right. Yeah. Exactly like what you said.
You're not just that little kid anymore. I mean, you're a parent, you've got children, they're grown, you're a grandma. I mean, and your children, though, they're still small. They have children of their own, but your children are still tiny. It doesn't make any sense. And yet it's true.
Right.
So by having this conversation, you've made this into a real thing. And that's not just going to happen with your parents.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you have friends who are like, oh, okay, yep, that's cool, man. I appreciate that. But that practice makes it real.
Yeah. And then today, the other thing that Jenny and I were talking about was, maybe you can talk a little bit about it, like how you feel when you're making the phone calls or whatever you're doing outside of just practicing, how it makes you feel. Like, remember when we talked about the roadblocks and all that?
Yeah, like just regular phone calls, calling up people like, hey, I'm a real estate agent. Like I hate that. That's no good. But setting up like the buyer consult, and practicing doing that and doing it from that perspective is way easier. Like that felt like something I can actually do. Like I'm excited to do that. I don't know what the difference is there and why it is, but definitely those roadblocks aren't there in the same capacity.
Well, and you had a task, right? Like I had to come to a final outcome, which was hold a buyer consult. So I had to go figure out, what am I saying? What are the papers I need? And that, and you said, I just went to work. I didn't think about how I got to do this and I got to do that. And I got to call these people and whatever. You're just like, I said it. And then I said another one. And we talked about it, that, I mean, conceivably, what's to stop you from doing that to everybody? Right? Like, even if they live somewhere else, right? Like, hey, could we do a Zoom buyer consult? I need to practice on Zoom, right? So you could do that. Like I could start doing that. People don't know not everybody knows how long I've been in real estate. I could call them up and be like, I need to practice my new listing presentation. Could I come over to your house and pretend to list your house? Sure. And then I do a CMA and I give it to them and I tell them how much the house is worth. And then they're like, damn, my house is worth that much? Yeah, for sure it is. Well, but if I sold, where would I live? Well, do you want me to look that up for you? Do you want me to put you on an MLS search and then you can see my face every day and I can then help you buy a house, right? Because then when you're doing your buyer consult, don't make it pretend, actually sign them up for a search. You're going to get their address, their phone number, you're getting everything.
Yeah. Well, and that's the other thing my mom said. She even said that. She goes, well, put me because we can do that. I can, set an MLS search because you're kind of looking for stuff by a lake now. And So she's like, yeah, really do that. I was like, okay.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Well, like when you talk to people in the buyer consult, like I said in the last hour, I said, make sure you are doing buyer consults with people who, live in an apartment or whatever. You're not doing a listing appointment with them because you're not going to list their apartment, right? And then the people who have maybe lived there for a long time, maybe they need to downsize, whatever it is, do a listing appointment with them, right? And base your business off of your sphere and how you can best help them. And I mean, I literally feel like we have the biggest untapped secret here in the world of real estate. Like, this is amazing, right? Because it's working. And it's going to continue to work because the people like you and they want to help you and they don't know how. And before you call in on the phone, they're like, yeah, whatever. Like, I don't know. I don't have time. I don't know people. I don't want to have them, you calling them. Like, I'm just done with that. Right. But you go over and they're like, no, I for sure know somebody. Like, let me get it for you. Right. So it's just super exciting that, to do this. So here is my question for you guys, because I know Jenny's number. I want to know how many practice buyer consults you guys did in the past week.
Well, Jenny has to say 2 because
How many
you might
did-
know, but they don't.
How many did you do, Jenny?
I did 2, but I also did another one with my husband, and he was really tough because he was like playing like he was being hard, like like he didn't want to
Did you do 3?
Yeah, so I would still count it because he was making it tough on me. So
Yeah.
Out of curiosity, Jenny, did you use a packet that you went through?
I did. Yeah, on the designs, I did one of those packets, and then I pulled up some of the, the exclusive, buyer paperwork and that other stuff. So I had
Did you
that.
find that some of it was garbage and useless to you?
Yes, it felt fumbly. So then when I did it the second time, I was like, and that was the one thing I discussed with people the first time, like, what would make this better? Or do I just not show it to you? Or do I just give it at the end like this, just to have and just pull out the stuff I needed?
The cool thing about practice is you can ask those questions and get
Right.
legitimate answers.
Right.
And you can make decisions. And even if it ends up working, it doesn't matter.
Right.
But the other thing that's great about designs is once you've made that decision, like, you know what, I've done 4 or 5 of these, this page is useless, it's gone. You just delete it out of your presentation and you never see it again. Or you save it with a different packet because maybe it does appeal to a particular buyer and you label that packet for that, like people who love extreme amounts of detail, right? And then regular.
Oh, yeah. So depending
what I
on the
mean? So
client, you compare it to them.
Right. And so that when you're talking to somebody on the phone who's super detailed, you said, this is the way I'm going. If it's the other way, then you've got multiple packets and you can just print them off when you need to.
Right. And like, Shantia earlier in our 4 o'clock class, I said, so what was the feedback? And she's like, oh, I did practice with my sister at first. And she said, I was super rigid and nervous and way too professional. Like I needed to be more myself. And so that's the other thing is ask them like, so what did you think? Right. And when you are super scripted, people are like, yeah, like, what are you doing? Right. Where are you? You're not, that's not you. Right. So did you guys get any feedback like that? Like, or did you ask for any feedback?
Yeah, mine was just that like coming in and starting it to like feel like or just be like more relaxed, like you said, like that was like the one thing. Because once you get going, then it's normal.
Right.
But I do that with everything. I always start out way more like concerned about how I appear or I'm acting than after once I'm there for a while. So
Right. Yeah.
And that's the same thing. It's true of, it's one of the reasons why you do this from a role play perspective or practice perspective. You want to call it a drill, skill drill. There's a million things you can call it. But at the end of the day, I would be willing to bet that if you had a camera on you on the first one you did and a camera on you on the third one you did, completely different. And the same thing is going to be true when you hit number 7, right? So that it just keeps getting better and easier. And as you work through that, you're going to find, again, pages that don't belong. And one of the things we joked about earlier today is that packet is you. that packet you bring, whatever it is. I'll be honest with you, mine has memes in it. Because you're going to see that stuff. If you guys have seen me do the slideshow for the team meeting, there's wacky stuff in there. It's just inserted randomly. I don't mind that. And if you as a buyer are put off by that, I probably don't want to do business with you. But, to be fair, I would have multiple packets, the one for the people I'm going to work with, and then the one where I don't know what I'm getting myself into, which again, maybe that more detailed one, but I can keep multiple things in that designs thing so I can shoot them out to whatever is most convenient for me. But I'm always going to have something in there, and I always want to include a piece of me in what I do. And that's one of the ways that you can do that with designs. And I think it's super exciting.
Yeah. Sweet. All right, Dina, how did it go for you?
It was good. I've had 3 buyer consults. One was real and I got them signed. So that was good. Yes. So it was good. It was exciting. I'm happy. It's nice.
Happy dance.
There we go. But yeah, so I did the first one with my dad, and then I did the second one with my mom. They both are very different personality types. So I wanted to kind of see how they would both feel about it. So I got good feedback from both of them. Kind of with my mom, the first time it was, like, yeah, you're a little bit scripted, a little bit this. And so I kind of figured that out and redid that. And then when I did it with my dad, it was more, he's a little bit older, and he was like, I'm an old guy, and you covered these things and you left out this thing. And this is one of the things I wanted. And I was like, okay, cool. So then I added that in, and then I had the actual appointment, and it went well. And it was with a mutual friend. So I've met him before, so it wasn't super stressful, but it went well. I brought the buyer packet that I made, and then I brought, that buyer lead sheet that's in the PC folder. I brought that for me to kind of take notes on. And then I brought the contract, which had everything filled out to, what it would be for him. But I said, this is for us to write on, and this is to highlight and for you to take home. And so once you're, if you're comfortable with this, I'll send it to you over email, and then you have that as a reference. And so he was really comfortable with that. And then I set him up with a lender yesterday, and they met today, and he's getting pre-approved, and we're moving on it. So it's good.
That's so awesome.
Yeah. I'm happy with it.
And did it happen like you were coming in for your one-on-one, and in the parking lot he called and was like, hey?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I came in for my one-on-one. I was in the parking lot, and he texted me, he goes, hey, I'm looking for an apartment. And so I was like, oh, are you looking to rent? And so I clarified that. And I think he meant condo or townhouse. And it happened quickly. He contacted me, and then 3 hours later I met him, and it was good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So awesome.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right, Gonar, do you have any questions on any of that? I know we're going to meet tomorrow, and you'll meet with both Victoria and Jason as well. But any questions overall from what we've covered as to like any questions about the buyer consults?
Yeah, but I probably don't really, it'll probably be better to ask. I feel like after I go through more of that, just because I don't, some of the stuff I wanted to ask, but I don't necessarily, it'll probably get explained tomorrow when I'm up there. But I'll take a note of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I guess one of those things is it Dana or?
Yeah.
What was some of the things and that you said one of them was your grandpa that you went with?
Oh, my dad. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was one of the things that you had said was that you were missing or that he needed, that he was looking for?
Yeah. So he said, so I have a couple checklists in my buyer packet, and I can send it to you so you can see kind of what I did. If you want, I can post it on Facebook or whatever. But so in there, I have the checklists of, this is the process of getting pre-approved. This is the process of this and all that stuff. But it was detailed, but not as detailed as he would like it. So he wanted a more broken down step-by-step of the process, so that, he's able to keep track of what phase of it we're in. And so then after he said that, I went back in and came up with, just a better kind of more detailed checklist and showed it back to him. And that's what he had wanted. So I'm finding that even the people that aren't super information oriented want something to refer back to, so that when I'm using words or when I'm using phrases, they're able to understand it. And, if I miss explaining it to them for some reason, or something goes on, they have something to refer back to.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be awesome if you can
Yeah.
share in our PC Facebook group.
Yeah, absolutely.
And because everybody's doing the same thing, right? So just
Yeah.
talk a little bit about it as to how it went with them, the fact that you had 3, like just kind of give an overview.
Yeah.
And then, however you do, what do you tag?
Yeah.
Not tag, but like
But
add the file or something? I don't know.
yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
He doesn't know how to turn on his camera.
You named it correctly.
Thank you.
You
Thank you.
add the file.
File.
Add the file. Yes, I will. Absolutely.
20 words here.
20 words.
File.
All right, Gonar, any other questions?
Oh, no, that's it.
Okay. All right, you're up, dude.
Sweet, sweet. I did one with my aunt and one with my best friend. And the one I did with my aunt, she said it was like the best I could ever do. And so great. And I'd buy a house if I blah, blah, blah. And then I did one with my buddy and he kind of let me know. He said, you look like you're reading from a teleprompter. You're not yourself type of vibe. And so I guess that's what I'm going to work on, is kind of just relaxing and, just letting it flow, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm gonna double back on that thing I was saying about putting memes in there. I put memes in there because making a joke about it completely relaxes me, right? That works for me, but that's why keeping yourself in there is so important, because it kind of tethers you back to who you are. And whatever that is, you'll hear me continue to talk about this, whether like Eli today was on in the class I did today on 36 touch campaigns. And how do you put yourself in what you do? Do you love animals? Is there an animal in your buyer packet? You know what I mean? Is there, if you're going to have a picture in there of a beautiful house, why did you pick that house? Why did you pick what you put in there? Make an intentional choice, make it something that says something about you. And I promise it starts to make everything easier, because that's really what it's about. And that's what you're selling. At the end of the day, you're there selling your service. And what is your service but you? At the end of the day, you're selling yourself. And look, you got a job, you got the interview, they've already given you the key to the door and they let you in. So now all you got to do is sell the service part. And that's the part where you got to make sure you shine through, because they've already accepted you.
Right. Do you guys want to hear the text that I got from Eli
Oh my God.
earlier?
Oh, I do.
Okay.
I want to hear the text.
I can't tell what time I got it, but like within the past hour. Just, I won't be at PC coaching because I got a call from someone in my sphere that wants me to sell their house. I'm heading over there now to meet with them. I can send you over my homework if you want. Also, let me know what homework is for next week.
Nice.
That's awesome.
That's good.
Like, what the heck? That's what it's all about, right? And the more you guys talk with your sphere and ask them for help doing a practice, the more that this stuff is going to come up, right? And they're going to want to refer you, like Jenny had, her mom was like, you should call these people, because they've looked at you, seen that you're doing this in a professional manner. Like Jenny's parents are super proud she has a job, right? Like that's the thing, is people will want to help you. And so I'm like, let's get on this train. And I swear to God, I feel like this is going to be the next big thing. Well, I'm going to be on stage with Gary
The
Keller.
next
And
golden letter.
all you guys will be with me, right? Yep. And it'll be amazing.
If you're like that gal I walked out of the conference on.
No, oh my gosh. So there's this, he was sitting next to me and he gets up and walks out because she's like, she looks over at the screen. She's like, oh my gosh, you guys, that's me on that big screen. I just have to say that. And I'm like, oh, wow.
I ain't got that time for braggart. You know what I mean? And it wasn't so much that she was excited, because you could tell, I mean, the difference sometimes, it's big. She had a little group of people in the front that had come to see her, that she had brought with, and that's cool, you know what I mean? But the whole time she was focused on them and not on the fact that she was here giving a professional presentation. There's a time for show and there's a time to get your job done. And she should have been, in my mind, should have been getting her job done. You know what? Doesn't bother everybody. I don't have to be there. I got out. I don't want anything to do with it.
He got up and left.
I go to the bathroom. See you guys. I'm out.
Yeah.
I don't need that
So-
showboat.
So, yeah.
So if you do that, I'm gonna walk out on you and you're gonna
I'm
know.
not gonna be like that.
I will walk out on her. Right out the door.
At the next team meeting, just walk up and put a picture of yourself on there. Do it that way, Jez. Just next team meeting.
Oh,
Except for I control the slides.
Oh, that's right. Then you got to do it.
Thinking.
thinking, always thinking. See, he's got the control here. Okay, so what were you saying?
Make sure you put yourself in that presentation. I mean, you can customize it any way you want. There's no laws, right? I mean, Gonar, maybe you want to talk about basketball. Maybe use basketball analogies in the verbiage as an example. I mean, even if you want to remove that from your entire history, other people are going to always have that in their mind or their image, and it's not, you know what I mean? So there's that piece. If it makes sense for you to talk about lockers, I don't understand still exactly what they do, Jenny, but if that makes sense to put in there, then put it in there, because it's part of who you are and what you do. And that language is what it is. It doesn't have to be over the top. It doesn't have to be every word, but I'm going to give it 100%. I'm going to leave it all on the court for you. I mean, that's a simple thing that you can put in there. That's part of you that at the same point in time, doesn't have to call it out. And as you have those pieces in there, it's reminding you of your own language. And that's why your word choices in all of those text blocks that you have in your packets are so important.
Mhm.
Look, I'm not saying spend the next 6 days trying to perfect that thing. No, just put a few of your own words in there. That when it uses words and you're like, I don't even know what that word means, that's the first place you should start, right? I mean, cut the sentence out and put something else in there that makes sense.
And cut the word out, right? You said something about golden letters.
I did.
I don't know.
Well, I said, this is going to be the next golden letter.
Oh,
Like they haul
yes.
everybody up there to talk about golden letters.
Yes,
Let's talk about practice scripts, man.
right, right. This is.
I'm doing the practice script
this is it.
routine.
Right. I got you, following you
Yes.
now.
Now you're tracking.
I'm tracking. Okay, so do you want to go into that now, or do you want to?
So,
No.
well, I do want to touch on it, and we'll get, I think we've gone through everybody.
Yep.
And I think the one thing I want to touch on is this, at some level, I'm going to call it a revelation. It's the wrong word, but it's the word that first occurs to me for you, Jenny, that I could call all of my customers or all my clients, or all the people in my sphere and say, hey, I just want to practice with you. And this suddenly makes it better or easier or different. And what I'm going to suggest to you is one of the main reasons why we talk in these classes so much about mindset. Because nothing has changed, Jenny,
Mhm.
except your mind. That's the only thing that's changed. All of the realities are still the same, but you now see a different way through. And not saying that any particular revelation or any piece of what we've been talking about led to that, but I think it's important to understand that the biggest barrier to your success is exactly what we said it was going to be when we started, and that's you. You're the barrier. And it sounds ridiculous. How could it possibly be me? I want to eat. And yet, no, there are little things that make it easier. And once we can start touching them and naming them, then the next time something else comes up, because this will work great for maybe a month, maybe the rest of your career. We don't know, but we'll have to shift again.
Mhm.
And at that point, it's a lot easier to shift when you know that, you know what, nothing has changed. I'm changing. I need to change again. that makes it so much easier. And that's why mindset, I hate to say it, but especially when you start this, more real estate agents quit in their first year than quit after their first year.
Mhm.
Well, what's the difference? They don't know what they're getting it into. And you can, there's an argument to be made that if you were making a kabillion, that you'd stay in your first year. And if everybody just come make a kabillion bucks, then they're going to stay forever. But the reality is, it is your mindset. It is your attitude that will determine your altitude. And we've all heard that, seen that somewhere else. But how does that manifest itself? How do I change? What do I have to do to get my mind in the right place to do the things I need to do to be successful? And, you know, a lot of times people often say, especially in their first year, one of the things that's come up a lot is, you know what, this is a super unpredictable income. I mean, maybe I'm at great deals, maybe I don't. I mean, sometimes I'm on the top, sometimes I'm on the bottom. But if that's the way you're looking at it, there's really a piece where I challenge you to say, I'm not sure you know your numbers, and I'm not sure you understand how it works, right? Because if the average person buys or sells a house every 13 years, and I want to sell 20 houses, I need to be regularly talking to 260 people. That's just the law of averages. And sometimes, yeah, it's going to be a little higher, and sometimes it's going to be a little bit lower. But if I want to sell 20 houses, I got to be talking to 260 people on a regular basis. And that's assuming that those 260 people I'm talking to are bulletproof. There's no chance of them leaving my grouping, right? And that's why things like 36 touch are important, because I'm never going to get that to 100%. But I want to get it as close to as bulletproof as I can, that core sphere of people. And in order to be successful, I need to make the number of contacts I have high enough that I'm going to get the results I want. And that's just math. The averages are going to work out over time, right? Donar, if you're thinking about a basketball game, can you remember a team that won a game by only taking 10 shots? No. No, it's not a thing. Maybe when you were in second grade. You've got to have shots. Over time, if you take enough shots, you're going to fall. They're going to win. It's in the end, it's about opportunities and how many opportunities you make. And the more of them that you make, maybe you can get that number down from 260 if you've got a group of in your core group that changes their home a lot. But chances are, once you get to that many people, if you've got somebody who buys and sells their house every 3 years, there's probably somebody in that list who ain't going to sell it but once in 20 years. And that might be one transaction for you ever from them, right? Because they stay in their house forever. So it's still the law of averages. Even when you think you're ahead because you got this great customer who buys something from you and sells and buys and sells, you got another two who don't. And that's okay. You just got to keep working on getting that contact base up to the point that it supports the numbers you want to hit, and the numbers will take care of itself. What happens in the meantime, boss? Mindset, right? Because it's not going to be perfectly linear. As much as I'd like to tell you, if you have 260 people in there, you're going to have 20 house sales this year, and that means you're going to sell one house every month plus one extra house every month and a half, right? No, that's not how it's going to work. It's not going to be average. You're going to sell 6 in June and none in December. And there's nothing you can do about that. That's just the way it's going to work out. Or you sell 6 in December and you got nothing in January. That's normal. But in that time, this guy is going to be after you every minute of the day. You forget that you sold 6 and you're like, I got to get something. I got to do something. What am I going to do? And then you're like that kid who can't get a date in the store because he's asking every girl, what's up? What's up? And it just doesn't work like that. You have to have a mindset that things are going to work out in the end, and you have to be yourself and not get worried about it, because when you're desperate, not happening, not going to do. So we're going to talk about this lesson on mindset, but I don't think we really talked about why we feel like mindset is so important. And I wanted to touch on that today.
Yeah. Yes. So in this, it talks about, if you had a crystal ball, What would you want to know about your future in real estate, right? And so a lot of this, like that bottom box, it says, what stories have you been telling yourself about having a career in real estate? And this goes back to that conversation that we had last week, but a lot of you, I have it with you on one-on-ones, is if you were to get out a piece of paper and write down what you tell your through the day, right? What would that be? And if we were, not that we want to focus on negative things, but if we were to talk about the negative things, what are they? Right? Because the negative things are the ones that are, they're not going to help you, right? And so it helps to get them out onto a piece of paper, right? And then verbalize them, like verbalize them with me or with somebody else, right? Because what happens is I talk to somebody and they're like, yeah, it's not good things. It's not good things what I tell myself. I'm like, okay, well, what are they? Well, that I'm worthless and that unless I'm sitting in front of a client, I'm wasting my time. Like I'm just not good enough. And I'm like, okay, are those true statements? Well, no, right? And so to have somebody else, otherwise you're spiraling down and then you just keep going down, right? And I think that the thing is if you can write it, what did we say here? Fine. Somebody, I think it was Amy. She said, when I taught this before, she said, I'm fine. And fine means feelings inside not expressed, right? And so when somebody says to you, they're fine, like, are they really?
Are they really?
Probably not. I mean, and
What
that's
is
the thing is when you say to people, oh, how you doing? Oh, I'm good, right? Like,
I'm
very,
fine.
very rarely do people go, oh my God, I've had a horseshit day, right? Like, and then you're like, whoa, crap, I shouldn't have asked. Or you're like, whoa, tell me about it, right? And when that person says, tell me about it, you're like, oh, thank God, like finally somebody's going to listen to me. And you let it go, right? And so being able to share with somebody else and verbalize it gets it out of you so that it doesn't continue to run around in your head.
What stories have you been telling yourself about having a career in real estate? If you wrote this down, I've got dollars to donuts that every person who's ever been through this class could write in this box something like, I don't want to come across as salesy.
Oh,
I don't want to sound pushy.
100%.
It's a fact. It's a fact that 100% of the people who are in this class have said that, except for one or two guys. And I don't mean people, I should say, that decided that they didn't feel that way. They have no shame. There is a certain set of humans that just literally have no shame. But that's a common thing. And it just because you feel that way doesn't mean that's the way you're being. But it is a limiter on your ability to make success or to be successful by I don't want to come across as pushy. Well, sure, no one wants to be pushy. Don't be pushy. Ask questions, and asking questions isn't pushy. Doing things that people don't want you to do is pushy. So if you ask and they say no, cool, man, that's not pushy. When you keep asking them, then you're getting pushy. Don't ask again.
Right.
Don't be a jerk.
Like, can you practice with me to do a buyer consult? No.
I don't have time for that. Don't
Well,
follow it up with
why not? But I want you to.
Yeah.
Wow. Freaky.
That's weird, right? But even in that case, we're still finding the same thing. And over time, you're going to find that your tolerance is really more defined on reactions. And the reactions you get from people are what's defining your tolerance. But the real question is, and I've done this a million times in different ways, but we used to, at Verizon, believe it or not, there are things called upgrade fees. And customers hate upgrade fees. And they do. I'm not even going to argue that. But believe it or not, at least 3 times we raised the upgrade fee while I worked there. And every time we worked there, we would raise the upgrade fee. I'd have a conversation with the sales reps and they would say, what's going on, boss? I said, well, we're raising upgrade fees in a week. Oh my God, we're not going to be able to do any more phones. Nobody's going to buy it. Customers are going to run out of here. It's going to be terrible. All right. That's what you told me last time we raised the upgrade fees, and we still have all the customers. In fact, truth is, we have more customers now than we did then. So let's talk about that thought process, right? Because the reality is the only one who's afraid of the upgrade fee was the salesperson. All the other people knew it was coming. They don't like it, but they knew it was coming. And after a month of presenting it, it wasn't even a big deal. But that first week, it was such a huge hurdle. Oh my God, what am I supposed to do if they're mad about the upgrade fee raising prices? What control do you have over it? You present it, it's a fact, you move on, right? Well, I don't want to charge people more than you're not. You have no control over this. You just let it go. And a month later, everybody's like, I would always bring it back up. Hey guys, how many customers ran out of here about that upgrade fee? How many? Where's the counter? I know we have a counter somewhere. We're counting them, right? Nobody. Okay, right. It's us. It's mindset. The pushy thing, you'll know when you're really being pushy. You will feel terrible. There's a difference between feeling pushy and being afraid. And right now, this is a new behavior, a new thing that's challenging. It's okay to be afraid, but you have to recognize you're afraid of doing this new thing. You're not afraid of being pushy.
Right. Yeah. Do you guys, do you have any other thoughts on besides, I don't want to come across sales? Is there anything else that stuck out to you guys that was like, oh yeah, that's what I'm telling myself?
For me, the big thing is I tell myself it's something I've wanted to do for years, but I've always just been a cheer coach and a stay-at-home mom. And just that whole idea of, who does she think she is? Like going out there and having a career and,
Yeah.
Imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
Imposter syndrome.
I kind of feel like that too. Not in necessarily the same way, but I feel like I'll get a lot of like, I can't believe people like hire me to do things for them. Like I have no clue what I'm doing, which is not true, but that like, okay, like you're asking me to do something for you that involves, a huge decision. I'm like, wow, you must trust me. But the reality is like, I do know how to do it. And, I've shown them that I know how to do it, but it's hard to get over that. Like, okay, I have no idea what I'm doing, which is where.
I will tell you, imposter syndrome is one of the most common things that everyone faces, all right. And I've talked about it before, even in my own career here. I mean, what do I know about technology? What do I know? I'm talking to Jason Herkamp about how to do something on his system. He's been an agent here for years. He knows how to use the system better than I do. And he sells millions of dollars worth of real estate in months. You know what I mean? Why in the world is this guy seeking out my opinion right now? Well, in the end of days, I have to realize that the other part of it is they could know this stuff, but it's my job to know this stuff. So when they have a question, I may not know the answer, but I'm the one who they're going to take care of to expect to go find it out. I'm the one who gets to take that time, and I'm the one who's going to have that time. Look, in my job, I do what I do. And if I go down to the car dealer and it's a new guy there trying to fix my car, I'm not really worried about it. He's going to have to take care of it. I'm not, standing over his shoulder watching all this stuff. But on the other side, I just want it done.
Right.
You know what I mean? I don't.
Right.
I'm paying him to do it, and I'm going to go away. And when I come back, my car runs. I'm happy. I don't care that he's new. I really don't.
Yeah.
And I could fix it. I could take a few weeks to figure out a lot of YouTube videos, figure out how to fix that thing. No, not interested. I know what my time is worth, and it's not invested there, not successfully anyway.
Right. Yeah. 100%. Yeah. How about you guys?
Yeah, as far as not feeling like salesy, I'm trying to, I guess, deal with this potential client who told me 2 weeks ago that we'd meet next week, and then this week he said next week. And I don't know if he's kind of just telling me, you know, what I want to hear. And so I was telling myself, I heard on YouTube a guy say, we're the people that are moving the world forward, and we have to, it's my job now to get a no from him if he's gonna keep telling me next week. So I'm gonna straight up ask him next time I talk to him, like, you know, are you gonna list your house, or is this just something down the line? I mean,
That's cool too.
yeah,
It's not about you.
Right.
Nothing to do with you. Remember the coolest thing, and I love to use this phrase, but I think it's super important. No is the currency of a salesperson. You haven't done your job until you've gotten a no.
correct.
That's the currency of a salesperson. And you get enough currency, you're going to get something, right? You don't like it. It's not about you. It's not an invalidation of you. I got to be honest with you. It does feel that way. When somebody says no, it does feel like they're saying no about you, but they're saying no to you. And that's an entirely different thing. It's not about you, it's to you. And that's okay. That's a currency. You're going to build up that currency and you'll be able to spend it on something later useful. But it's okay. And until you've gotten that no, you haven't done the sales portion yet.
Mhm. Yeah, I know, Gonar, you're super new to this and you still have thoughts that you tell yourself, right? So what are some things that you have told yourself about having a career in real estate?
I'd say just probably that, some of that imposter syndrome. Like, there's gonna be some people that are obviously gonna be like there'll be some people that are probably go like, why don't you just do something like more similar? Like, are you gonna be able to figure it out? Like Jason said, a lot of people quit within a year. So just thoughts like that. But at the same time, like I just try to stay like excited about it. So like I'll read or listen to podcasts, or just like even getting into these calls, or just being around more people, having conversations about people that are like either involved in real estate or doing something in it, just to keep it kind of like fun and motivating. Because like if you're obviously like, something for me is like, if I have a lot of conversations with people that are telling me that it's not the best path, is just kind of like, it's not really helpful. So it's definitely better to be around. For me, it's been easier to be around people that are already doing this or doing what I want to do.
Yeah, absolutely. That's awesome.
You know, when I left retail after 30 years, this is what I've done for 30 years. It's not quite the same as being a stay-at-home mom or that kind of thing, but it's the same kind of thing. It's a huge shift in what I'm doing. Somebody said, why are you doing this? And why are, you can go and make a lot of money. You've got a lot of experience in this business. You can go do this anywhere. And I said, you know what? It's time I bet on myself.
Yeah.
I'm going to bet on myself. I've bet on other people and waited for them to give me money and get the salary or whatever and have the paycheck come from the thing. But no, I'm going to bet on me. I can do this. I have enough confidence in myself to know that I'm the best bet I've got. And if I'm going to depend on somebody, I'm going to depend on me, because I'm the only one I can control. I mean, I can. Oh no, when you got to sneeze, you got to sneeze. That stuff is going to come out. Do you know that stuff comes out at 200 miles an hour? And if you try and stop that, what's going to happen to your brain? I mean, think about that. 200 miles an hour. Anyway.
Measured and how, right?
With a machine, woman.
A machine.
Well, I have these. It's a thing. Look it up. That's what you guys say something crazy. I'm looking it up. You think that guy's bored with me. But the point is, he's looking up things like 200 miles an hour.
He's Googling sneeze rate.
Sneeze miles per hour. So, but when you think about it, who can you control? Nobody but you. And at the end of the day, if I'm going to bet on something, I want to bet on me. I want to bet on me. And I want you guys to think about it that way too. You're betting on you. You're the one who's going to do this. And if you think about all the things that you've done that you thought were hard at the time, every one of them you've gotten over, through, around, or above. And this is the same thing. And then the second part of that though is when you have that success, when you get that listing, when mom gives you that referral, you're betting on you. You're winning because you were always going to win. It's just a question of when it was going to happen. And when it happens, don't forget to celebrate it.
Freaking
Don't forget to
celebrate.
be excited. Don't forget to do the stupid dance over the wall. That's what you do. It's part of the deal, right? I mean, like I said before, don't be boastful up on that stage. That doesn't mean don't celebrate.
Right.
Just don't remember that everybody else in the room, everybody else around you may not have it as good as you or as well as you. Right. And so when you're boastful like that in front of other people, that's a different thing. But don't not celebrate. You got to celebrate the wins because the wins, that's what you're in this for.
Right.
And that's when you've done the right thing. So, celebrate yourself, bet on yourself and celebrate the win because you earned it. Even if it was a gimme, you still got it. You
Right.
had to be there, you had to
You
be
did.
ready, and you had to have the opportunity and the knowledge to take advantage of it, even when it's a gimme. You still have already done so many things to get there that it's a win.
Yes, I'm looking at this because I feel like we talked about a lot of these.
I know, that's the
yeah,
whole point.
yeah.
Make an organic conversation,
Look at-
not a
I think
list.
we hit them all. Maybe the last one.
I don't know, we didn't hit my body. My body. My
I can
body.
hit your body.
Boom. There you go. How are your thoughts and that's a funny, no, you gotta go past that. What steps will you take to create a positive circle of mindset? So, that's a great question. If we talk about this thing, we've had this discussion, and we've gotten to where we are. I think that's a great way to kind of wind it close to the end here, because we're right at that point, but
Mhm.
what's something you can do this week that's new for you, that's going to help you either celebrate the win, focus on betting yourself, overcoming that imposter syndrome, not being salesy? What's one thing you can do this week that you haven't done or tried before? Jess.
One thing I can do this week. Well, I have not reached out to agents who are already licensed at other brokerages who have not closed any transactions or have only done like one or two. And I think the biggest reason is because I tell myself, well, it's easier when somebody's brand new because they just want to come here, right? And it'll be difficult and there'll be objections. And the other point is they already are in real estate, right? They've overcome some of those things and they haven't been successful. So they need coaching. So then I have a value that I can give to them. And I keep telling myself like, well, but it's probably too hard. It's probably too scary.
So how many, you're going on vacation soon, right?
I'm going on vacation the 19th, yes. So I have a full week.
So how many of
Oh
those calls
God,
can you
what am I
make?
saying I'm gonna do?
You see what just happened here? We just roped this poor gal right into trouble.
Damn it. Well, my first goal was to sit down with John and get a list of the people because he has broker metrics and he can grab them all, right? Because I don't have access to that. And then it's, what am I saying to them? Right? So then, I could ask you guys, can I practice with you on what I would say to an agent at another brokerage? Sure. Right. And then I can practice. And then by the time I actually call, it won't feel weird. And I have relations with people in the chamber and talking to people, right? Like I could even talk to them. You guys know any?
she has relations with people in the chamber?
Oh my God, you're killing me. Yeah, no, I do not. I think that would, it was terrible. I can't believe you did that.
I can't believe you said it.
It's recording.
Oh.
It's recording.
Who can edit this? Oh, that's right.
You. So yeah, that's it. That's right there. That's what I gotta do. Let me write that down.
How many people?
Oh, how many people? Ooh.
We're talking smart, right? Specific, measurable, right? Don't let her get away with this on you guys, because she does this to you every time. You guys have a call with her, right? She calls you, you have to come up with this stuff, and she doesn't let you off the hook. We're not letting her off the hook either.
I feel like I could call, I'm gonna do what I'm gonna suggest to them, that they do 5 practice buyer consults. I will call 5 people.
Cinco.
And I'm like going big guns, because that'd be like, I want you guys to have 5 buyer consults, not practice, right? Like, I'm not practicing with 5 people. I'm calling 5 people from other brokerages.
Walk the walk, talk the talk.
There we go. I'm writing it down.
What about you, Thomas? What are you doing this week?
I was thinking of following up on the golden letters, because you can get their phone numbers, and if they don't have a DNC, do not contact. I was thinking of just calling them and saying, hey, did you get my letter? And I guess that'll kind of be practice too, of just being on the phone and having realtor conversations.
So would you put any of those people in command? You have their address.
I guess after
You're
I
making a phone call.
talk to them, or I haven't yet, but I guess that's a good idea.
Whoa.
Load it up.
All right, ask him the
Gas
next
it up.
question. Gas it up. Give him
Yes,
some cocaine.
how many is that gonna be?
Well, I was the last ones I sent out was 130 something. So I guess if I could break that down every day to like 15 people, or what would that be, 20 people?
20 people a day?
Yeah.
God, I love you, brother, but that's no. I'm
Yeah,
not
I was
letting
gonna
you
say
20.
that's a lot.
You're not making 20 phone calls a day.
Well, maybe
look.
20 a week. How about that? We'll try that. Because that'd be 4 or 5 a day.
That would be 4 or 5 a day. Does that, y'all think that's the right number? I feel good about that number.
And do you think 20, do you think then that should be 20 people to the database too? Because you might call and not get an answer, right?
You
So-
still put them in the database, right? If you're making the call, you've now
Yeah.
connected a phone number and address, you've sent them a letter. They could be in your database. I would make sure that I tagged them.
Should we
you know.
make sure that the phone number is correct?
Yeah, I mean, once you kind of touch
Yeah,
those
okay.
pieces, I mean, you make that tag in there and you say golden letter, or, golden letter campaign 2022 or something. And,
Yeah.
at least you got an idea where that came from.
Yeah.
Because a year from now, you might go, who now is this guy? And that might be a real question,
Yep,
but you'll know
Yeah.
because you put a tag in there.
got it. Because don't forget, we have to share about Taylor's experience once this is all done, okay?
Dana,
Dangling carrots. Dana.
So my plan this week, so I'm working with the buyer that I just signed yesterday, and we're kind of working on, so he's set up with lenders, he's set up with a search, and he's set up with contracts. So everything beginning wise is done, but I want to get him out again and just be like, hey, because he didn't really give me a lot to work with, because he wasn't, it was all kind of new. So I want to meet up with him again. And I told him at the beginning, like, let's meet up again in half a week or a week and think about what's really important to you, and then we can add it to the search. So I think one is just getting kind of prepared for that and ready for that. And then something else that I would like to do is, you guys got me thinking about client events. I don't necessarily have, I have one past client, so not a lot of past clients, but I think maybe like a sphere event or like a something like that would be kind of cool.
yeah, that's what we want to do for the PC agents, is this would
Yeah.
be more realistically a sphere event than a past client event.
Yeah, I think that would be kind of cool. You got me thinking, like, I don't know, because like, no Easter bunny, but it's like, okay, we do an Easter egg hunt. It's like we can make like an office scavenger hunt, like just something that gets them engaged that's free, essentially, So I think coming up with some of those ideas would be fun. And then again, just kind of keeping on with the golden letters that I've been doing. They've been pretty successful in getting them. I've had a couple weirdos, but do you want me to tell? Do you want me to?
We've heard about Herbert.
You've heard about Charles, yeah.
Because Tom asked me, he's like, so how do you
Yeah.
talk to somebody when it's like the handoff? And I'm like,
Yeah,
your handoff
yeah,
is super different than most handoffs. So
yeah,
you can tell it, because I
Yeah.
think it's something that's important for
yeah.
golden letters, because you're sending them out and people will answer back.
Yeah, so I sent out I've sent out hundreds of golden letters and gotten some really good, opportunities from them. But about a month and a half ago, long story short, this elderly gentleman called me and was just asking questions about pre-approval and what he should do. Should he get an appraisal? He wants me to do all this stuff. And so I just answered some questions for him and then gave him a call back a couple days ago to reconnect and see what he wanted to do. He said he wanted to meet up for coffee in about a week. And then that he kept reiterating the fact that he wanted me to come over to his house. So it was just some weird vibes on that end. But I looked up his house and I was going to do a CMA and all that stuff. And I was like, okay, I just won't be alone. I don't go alone ever to appointments that are not in public anyway. But so I found his house and I was like, wow, this could be listed for like 700,000, 800, like just it could be a good listing, right? And so I go downstairs to my parents and my brothers and I'm like, look at this house. And my brother goes, is his name Charles? I said, yeah. And then it turns out that last summer my brothers would go around to the neighborhoods and they would mow lawns for money. And this guy, they were mowing his lawn and he was just harassing them and kept trying to get them to go inside his house, kept trying to like just creepy stuff, right? And so I was just like, all right, so the odds of this dude wanting to sell his house, I'm like, I don't know, but I don't feel comfortable anymore. And I don't feel comfortable referring him to another woman, another female agent. And so I told Jess about it and she's like, I have this big burly 6 foot something dude who you can refer him to, but it's also like, okay. Oh, and he was on the registry as well, like the National Sex Offender Registry, this guy. So yeah. So I was like, okay, great. So, I mean, it was just kind of like, okay, I referred him to Tom and we're going to kind of go from there, but figuring out how to kind of hand him off without being like, hey, you freak me out. Please go work with somebody else. Like,
I found out you're on the sex.
I was like, I think you are.
No, I'm out of here.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't want to know if you have a kill room in your basement. I don't know if you're like Dexter style. I don't want to know. I don't know. No, I just know. So,
He said to your brother's friend, like, do you want to come in the house and smoke?
yeah, he was trying just anything and everything he could do to get my brothers inside. And he was like, yeah, I want to, talk about some other projects I think you could do in the backyard, like just this, like, come look at, I want to show you this giant TV in my basement. It's like, this is the stuff that your parents tell you, like, not to believe as kids in the park. Like, it's just, it was, so I go downstairs and it was just funny to me because it was like, okay, what are the odds of this? But it's like, I mean, if I hadn't, if my brother hadn't been there to recognize the house, and right. I mean, I could have met this dude in public and he could have seemed completely fine. And then next thing you know, I have a problem. So,
yeah,
it was kind of like, oh, okay. Like and it happened quick, I mean, I haven't even, maybe, I don't know how many golden letters I've sent out, but it's not a ridiculous amount and it got one of them. So,
Right. And that's what we talked about. You and I talked about is that we're just going to announce, kind of share it at the team meeting that, because you're sending out letters to complete strangers, right?
Yeah.
Telling them that you want to purchase their home or have one of your clients purchase their home.
Yeah.
Then, that you have to, when you start to feel something's weird, it is, right?
Yep.
And I just had a one-on-one with somebody else today that was like, so I started to have this feeling and I was like, trust it. Like, when you have that feeling, it's accurate, right?
Yeah.
And you can totally ghost them, right? Like, be done.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Just yucky.
Right.
Just yucky all around.
So
yeah.
So yes, that's the downside of.
So that's that.
We got Jenny and Gonar. Who's next? Jenny, Gonar?
Jenny.
Yeah, this next week Well, I sent Jessica everything that I'm gonna be doing the next couple weeks, but big thing for me, because I feel like the practice buyer consults are working for me, and it's tricking my brain into like, I don't feel like I'm just promoting myself. Like I feel like I'm showing a purpose to people.
Helping you.
So just really rolling with that, you know, because I'm excited about doing all that. So
How many have you done?
How many what?
How many can you get done this week?
I sent it to Jessica. I forgot what I said. I
Oh,
think it was like, when I send you my text. And then I also really have to add my contacts into Command, which I've been like lazy on not doing at all. I've got them in other lists, and I need to like get them all in there and really take that serious.
All right, she's gonna do, and then this is 2-week time frame. 200 golden letters, 100 spring postcards to database, add 10 contacts a day, make 10 calls a day, complete 10 practice buyer representations, and 4 listing presentations. Look at her.
boom.
Hello.
Yeah. I feel motivated, so I feel like I need to just, and some of it's all stuff I've started, but I haven't followed through with. So it's,
Well, it's real now, my friend. It's real now.
It's recorded now.
Yeah,
I know.
it's the universe. There's multiple ears here. Okay, Gonar, how about you?
In terms of the buyer consultations, definitely want to get probably like 2 to 3 in this first week. Just get my feet on the ground and just get a good start. And then I wrote the goals that we had started out with. So we could go over those, but I want to just start out with, and it probably sounds like these numbers are low, but starting out with just contacting, and having a good conversation with like 12 people a week for the first week.
Yeah.
I know that numbers probably seems, I mean, compared to what it sounds like you guys are doing, it's probably low, but I'm just big on just starting a solid foundation and just going from there. I mean, I'm sure that'll be more, but just having that number in mind will at least, I know that's something that I can at least consistently do, but I'm sure it'll go up. Yeah.
Yep, and don't compare yourself to anybody else, because
Yeah.
it's you, not any, you know
Yep.
what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. Yep, yep, yep.
What's right for you, and
Yep.
you'll get there,
Yep.
and you know, it'll be amazing over time how that number changes. But right now, these first ones you're making, they're harder. They're the hardest 12 calls you're gonna make, brother. They are literally the hardest 12 calls you're gonna make. So, you know, you gotta get through them.
What's yours? Because you
Mine.
put me on the spot. What's yours?
What am I
buddy?
doing this week?
Yep.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't really know.
Oh, what?
Um,
I'm writing it down too. Jason. Like something is it one of your big rocks? You just haven't pulled the trigger yet. Probably make that marketing thing for me for K-score.
what thing is that? No, I'm not doing that.
What thing is that? Wait a minute. I know what that is, and I'm not doing it.
I will spend 2 hours on the elliptical this week.
Oh my God. Okay.
He said, "Oh my God."
I'm
That's awesome.
just
It'll probably be
all 2 hours.
5,
I
broken
want it
up
to-
over 5 days.
I want it to be 2 hours solid.
No,
Consecutively.
no. I don't have 2 hours
Can you
free.
imagine?
I do not
You
have
should
2
just-
hours free. I will tell you that during the last World Cup, I did spend over an hour and a half on the elliptical because I was watching a game, and I said, I'm gonna if these guys can run the entire game,
Oh my
I
God.
can run the entire game. And I did. I was in much better shape at that moment than I am right now, but I got to get back into it, and I've been resisting it. So
All right.
there we go. I am much happier when I am fit.
All right. 2 hours on the elliptical and probably no more chocolate caramel.
Oh, fuck
Cookies.
that. That's not going to stop me. I am on the exercise machine so I can eat what I want. That's the point of it.
Right.
It sounds completely backwards. Everybody else gets on there, lose weight. Nope, I'm in it so I can eat what I want.
Okay. Let's tell them what Taylor did.
You tell them what Taylor did. Taylor, but I will point out that while this is awesome for Taylor, he did show up today on the Zoom in a suit. I mean, he's wearing a suit coat, this whole thing. I mean, like this guy's like, I'm ready to raising this place up a notch or two.
He totally did. Yep. So he attended Remind. So that was before I go into Taylor's story. I want to talk to you guys. Who went to the Remind class? I did. Okay. So Dana and Thomas, did you find anything there that you thought was cool that you want to implement, or anything that you learned that you clearly, when you learned it, you didn't know earlier, but that you want to share?
I guess the absentee, I guess I knew that was an option, but I kind of been thinking about sending these letters to absentee owners.
Mhm.
And I guess just navigating the Remind, because I've kind of been on it a lot, but yeah, just seeing,
Yeah, how it works.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good.
Dana?
So I think for me, one thing that I'm trying to say, so I sat down with Jason Oliver a couple weeks ago and we talked for like an hour about Remind, and I had to leave the meeting early today. But one thing that I really like about Remind is that you can do it you can organize it in any way you want as far as filters. So for me, I needed a simple visual way for me to keep track of where I'm sending these golden letters to. So having that ability to filter of like by zip code and then put in anything you want as far as the houses that you're looking for, I think it's a really good resource for, you could filter out so many different things and be able to send so many different letters and do different phone calls. So I think the filters was a really good kind of thing to explore and know how to do.
Yeah, absolutely. So it is recorded, and the Southern accent girl's gonna get that to us.
Yeah.
And, wow, that was intense. I texted Dean and he's like, what did you say? Let me pull it up. Well, I'm here. Well, hang on. So here it is. He says, oh crap. Thanks y'all for joining my Remind training. So the thing that Taylor did was he went in and had a very specific search. So it was for a condo, and
Why was he searching for the condo?
remind me. I don't remember.
Because he had a buyer.
Yeah, he has a
Who
buyer.
lost out.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
So he had a buyer,
That was
makes an offer on a condo,
that was the beginning.
doesn't get it.
Right.
Believe it or not, in this market, he made an offer on a property and he was declined. Declined.
So he went in and he picked up this, like the area that he wanted it to be in. Like, let's say it was that condo association, right? So then he found emails from the people that live there. He took all of the emails. He sent them out an email saying, I have a buyer who wants to buy in this condo association and lost out. And I'm wondering if, whatever the deal is, right?
You'd be willing to sell your property.
Yep. He said he took about 30 minutes to do it. He sent maybe 20 to 30 emails, and he got 3 people to email him back. And he said, I spent $0. I spent 30 minutes, and I possibly have 3 people who could sell to my client, right? So that is the very zoomed in, targeted, laser focused target approach, because he's got a buyer, right? So that's what you guys need to do. You just need to get a buyer, and then you need to laser focus into what it is they want, where they want to be, and do the emails, like do that free at first. And he said, what I'm going to do now is obviously reach out to them, but I also could take their numbers and then call them, the other people who didn't respond to the email, right? Which that's just time.
What happens to Taylor, if one of those people does decide to sell their condo to his buyer,
Dual agency could
Yeah.
happen. Yeah.
that's the thing. And then what happens to that seller? What happens to them? What do they have to do?
They need a place to live.
So now he's got another client. And here's where he could do something really crazy to avoid making a mistake. What is it, Mr. and Mrs. Customer, you're looking for? And you remember how I sent you that letter? I'm going to send a letter to everybody who fits this dynamic. Right? One of the biggest hangups, people who don't want to be salesy or appear to be pushy is sending people letters that say, I have a buyer when they don't. Well, what if you do? Do it. Do the thing. Do it exactly the way they want to. And maybe you'll actually, I mean, that really helps you double down and really get into the business and can create a chain of opportunities. And heaven forbid, if Taylor were to send that letter based on the seller, his new seller's desires, and one of those people said yes. Now he's got himself a chain, but on top of having a chain, the other thing he might get a real opportunity to do, which is super important, is he might get an opportunity to close this sale without it going on the market, which means his buyer doesn't have to necessarily have to compete against a lot of outside offers, depending on the situation and depending on what works for all the parties involved. Again, you're here to help them. And if you are a dual agent, you're there to get them the most money possible for their house and help your client pay the least possible for their house, right? So, I mean, don't get crossed up there. But I mean, this would be really good for your buyers and any buyers you have if you can arrange a sale that doesn't require a listing.
Right.
Mhm.
Right. And you know, the biggest thing is that you just want to make sure that your buyer understands. Now, you're going to need to put in a good offer that isn't going to make them think, well, maybe we should just put it on the market because we'll probably get more than this. Like, you can't do that, right? You can't have it both ways. So if you can give them a good offer, because I can't tell you one way or the other which way to go because I'm representing both here. If you do that, you have a way better chance of getting this place, right? And yeah, and then you're just like creating this, you know, everyone's talking about how there's an inventory problem. Well, you're just solving it every single transaction. Boom, 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 all the way down, right? And I had a agent say that to me. He's like, oh my God, I have so many buyers. I have 8 now. I don't even know what to do. I'm like, well, you know those golden letters you do? Yeah. I'm like, why don't you do those for those people? And it was like that mind-blowing emoji. He looked at me, he's like, well, yeah, I could do that. I'm like, good. Because I think that's what's gonna get you some business, right? So, all right.
I
Yeah,
would
go
almost
ahead.
suggest to you, in general, there's 100 people in this office who will tell you about the golden letter and how useful it is. And I think they're all right. But I would almost suggest that it's probably a best practice in a market like this, if you sign a buyer, to create golden letters based on that buyer. And you double down and you get the most effective, efficient way to do both sides of the business. And oh, by the way, if that took you an hour or an hour and a half between 9 and 10, or between 9 and 11, you could tell Jess you did lead generation for an hour and a half and you wouldn't be lying.
Right?
You'd be telling the truth. You wouldn't be letting anybody down. You'd be doing exactly what you said you were going to do and exactly the way you were going to do it. And you're meeting your customers' needs and you're doing the great things because you can do this. You win. Bet on yourself. That's all I got.
Drop the mic. Right. Do you guys have anything else that you have questions on? You're burning questions.
Or not burning. They can be smoldering questions.
Smolder.
Just been sitting there, you know, no big deal.
No big deal. If you don't,
2 questions.
Yep.
So the first one, is so in that last situation, so if he had 3 people that were willing to sell, and let's say whichever one he went with, so the other 2 then could you just ask them, like, although you found someone else for this buyer, if they're still looking to sell, or if they just wanna, if you wanted to find them a buyer, is that something that would that be possible, or would that be fine?
Yeah.
That would
100%.
not only be fine,
That'd be-
sir, it would be encouraged.
Okay,
Yeah,
It would be
because,
applauded.
right?
That's the game.
Right.
That's the goal.
And the thing with that is that you can do something called a withheld from the MLS, which means you get all the paperwork done and they're signed, they're just not on the MLS. And you can market it. If you don't, you run the risk of somebody else talking to them and then they sign them and now you don't have the listing at all.
okay,
So the reason they might do withheld is they're not ready to move right now.
Right.
But yeah, I want to sell it. I just need some time to get ready and my house not ready and was really excited about that, but I probably need some time. So
Yeah.
you can do withheld.
okay. And then I feel like I know this, I have an idea what it is, but what exactly, and we can go over this tomorrow too, Jason, probably more in depth. What exactly is the golden letter? I've heard it mentioned like between now and our last meeting. I feel like I should know what it is, but
The golden letter is simply a letter kind of sent out en masse to multiple addresses that says, I have a buyer who is interested in purchasing a home in your area. Would you be interested in selling your home?
okay,
And it's super simple. The simpler you make the letter, the better. We have a number of templates here that people use. And basically, then you combine that with an MLS or a Remind search of properties. And basically you just do what's called a mail merge and you move the, and it creates 200, 300, 400 letters that you can send out to people, just like you were in the advertising business or whatever, and it goes out to them and they respond.
okay,
Thomas's point, and I think somebody else mentioned as well, there's an opportunity then if you wanted to call them back, especially if you use Remind to create that list, where you can make a phone call and say, hey, Joe at this address, I sent you a letter a week ago. I was just curious to see if you've given it some thought and if you were interested in selling your home. I do have a buyer in the area.
okay.
Yep. And I mean, that's the other thing is that when you think of calling them, it's so quick to get that follow-up, right? And that's why a lot of times people will be like, oh, just, for your lead generation, or just get on the phone, right? Because it's a fast reward, right? It gets you the no faster. So, so to make those golden letters even more golden, right? The following up with an email or a call is even better, right? Because if they've seen it, they've seen it, right? And you can reference that then. So yeah. All right. Did we talk about next week? We did not. Okay, so next week, are you guys going to be going to St. Peter? No, you are going, because it's like 2 minutes from where you are. Well, not 2 minutes, but it's close for you, right? I don't even know. Did you hear what we're doing? Maybe you didn't.
A little bit. Yeah, I heard it in the last
Okay.
meeting.
Okay.
Yeah.
We talk about this. And then we
Yes.
talk about that.
Okay.
How they're related.
Right. I got you. So what we can do is, we can meet here. So like Dana and Thomas and probably some of the other people like Andrea,
Me,
you, me, and we can carpool. And then people who live further out, we can just meet you there and let you know what time we're gonna get there. And there's gonna be lots of good stuff.
food, drinks,
Root beer,
door
door prizes,
live music.
live music. Yes. I got a text today. Did you? I got a text from Amber. Yeah. I said,
So what time would we be leaving?
Amber calls me.
Amber calls you. You're a big deal. We would leave here, like, I don't know, 4?
A little after 4 because the Tish thing ends at 4.
Oh, right, right.
The
So if
training ends
If
at
you're
4.
here for that, then, you know, you can still carpool Jenny and Gonar but then other people would have to just ride on the roof.
It's fun.
Your face, Jason. What? So, yeah, because the Tish stuff is, you have to be in person for that. They do not like to do Tish. I mean.
Never
CE
zooming
on Zoom.
CE.
Yeah,
Not allowed or what?
yeah, they don't do it.
Not very often.
I did a Zoom CE and it's like you have to have your camera on and they do polls that are just literally clicking like I'm here throughout
Right.
the whole thing. But yeah. Yeah.
To be fair, when you're here, they do expect you to be in the room and they don't like you to be on your computer. So, I mean,
Yeah.
it's the CE stuff
Yeah.
is, very much heavily monitored.
Yeah, so, do you guys, I just want to get a count for, Amber. So,
Amanda,
all right,
hug and
so,
kiss.
17. 7. Oh, and, we also need to know if you're gonna be here for the CE because Victoria, needs to get you signed up, so,
If you're not already signed up.
Yeah.
Many
Alright.
people are already signed up.
okay. How about you?
Yeah, I'll do the both, yeah.
Okay. All right, people on Zoom. Dana?
Yes, I'm gonna do both.
Okay. Jenny?
Yeah, I'm gonna do both.
Gonar?
I will not be at the CE, but I will be in St. Peter.
Gotcha. Okay. All right, guys, awesome. Anything else? Otherwise, that's a wrap.
Mic drop.
Mic drop.
Thanks, everybody. Good seeing you
Thank
again. And
Bye,
remember,
guys. See
you're
you guys.
betting on you.
Bet on you.
All right, see you guys.
Oh,
Bye.
dear. Is it just me or is it hot in here?
It is hot.
Yeah, I was feeling it like halfway through. I was kind of like, oh my
Like
gosh.
sticking to my chair. What? Oh.